AskReddit by Reasonable Horror 930. What's something crazy that happened at a friend's house but they acted like it was normal? They had 9 kids and 3 bedrooms. When it was nice out, we all slept on the saggy trampoline in the backyard. I miss that stuff, man. Fuck this getting older stuff. 9 years old. Her parents got in a screaming fight. Slamming doors, name calling, the works. She acted like it was normal, and when they were done fighting, we all sat down to dinner like nothing had happened. Weird as hell. I always invited her over to my house after that. Sounds exactly like the Smad TV sketch. https://yahoo.be/rsimut2ntw?siwp6uarfeinox6unp. A former co-worker had a family emergency and I volunteered to look after his fish for him. When I went over so they could show me the ropes, they led me to a giant room which had 4 huge aquariums and a stuffed raccoon on a tree branch. Not a stuffed animal raccoon, an actual taxidermic ex-raccoon. The raccoon was so surprising that it momentarily distracted me from the nude mural of my co-worker and his wife. This was a wild ride. I was about 10 at the time. New girl moved into the neighborhood. Went over to her house with her, walked up to the front door and you could hear Neil Diamond blasting away on the stereo inside, as loud as it could go. Walked in and her mom was standing out on the back patio, sliding glass doors wide open, swaying to the music and holding the biggest Siamese cat I had ever seen, and her mom was buck naked. I had never seen my parents wearing anything less than pajamas. She just smiled and said hello. Lol. That red wine will do it, you dart. My old roommates did about 100 whippets in a day. I think that stuff causes brain damage. I saw my friend's dad's balls hanging out. He had a robe on and was bent over. They were just out for everyone to see. Leon, is that you? My childhood best friend had 4 pretty large wild turtles, caught down by the river in my hometown. They lived part-time in their bathtub and her mother feed them raw ground beef, in the tub. The rest of the time they free roamed throughout the house, often hanging out in the bathroom closet under laundry. They really loved the turtles but in hindsight it probably wasn't the best idea. Side note, they only had 1 bathroom so getting a shower took a lot of preparation. Your childhood best friend, was he a talking rat? Well, one time at my friend's house, their pet parrot somehow managed to escape its cage and ended up reenacting scenes from the Shawshank Redemption by climbing through a tunnel made out of toilet paper rolls. When we found it perched on the toilet, my friend just shrugged and said, "Oh, he does this all the time. He's got a thing for Morgan Freeman movies." Fuck, I thought he'd hung himself. At the end of a meal the dog jumped on the table and went around licking the plates. No one gave a shit and even moved plates to help the dog. We were all still sitting at the table. Conversation continued without any stoppages. Plates straight back into the cupboard after the dog cleaned them. Middle school. My friend and I went in her hot tub. Her stepdad and stepuncle got in with us. I remember feeling really stared at and uncomfortable at an age where I already felt weird in a bathing suit as a girl going through puberty. Her overly comfortable behavior makes my now 36-year-old self worry about her childhood a little. That wasn't the only weird thing with those guys, just the most blatant. Reflecting back at these sorts of instances as an adult is pretty depressing. I was so clueless. Spent the night at friends and got thirsty, almost made it to the kitchen when I saw my friend's dad in panties walking to the master bedroom. I was hanging with a female friend and her dad would stumble around in the dark in his tighty-whities visiting his weed stashes around the house. Would just wander past, say what's up, haha. Was his house, I always got it, haha. My friend's mom grated some cheese for tacos and then just put the grater right back in the cupboard without washing it. I've never been so shaken in my life. You mean it was grating to see that? I was offered a milkshake at age 12 and her dad literally shook the gallon of milk and poured me a glass of milk from that shook gallon. I mean, that's a solid dad joke. I used to do baby settings when I was 13 and one time the 2-year-old lifted a couch cushion up and said that's mummy's dope. I was shook. This was back in the 90s. Went to a friend's house for a nickel bag. Her little 2-year-old nephew kept saying hi. Hi. I said hi back. But what he was really saying was, hi. Hi. The friend then proceeded to hand the toddler a bong. This baby actually took a bong rip in front of my very eyes. The kid was sedated and seemed content after that. No wonder he only knew one word. I got the hell out of there and still feel sick about it to this day. Okay, that officially beats the time I was at this dude's house buying weed from him and a clearly unrelated 9-year-old showed up out of nowhere, took a hit of the bowl we were passing around, I was not the one to pass it to him, and proceeded to call the guys weed trash. That was like 20 years ago, I'd forgotten all about that until I read your post. There was another dude there that day bragging about how he recently got in a high-speed chase with the state police because he had an unregistered handgun under his seat that he didn't want to get caught with. I started buying my weed elsewhere after that. Thank fuck my state passed medical and recreational laws so I don't have to risk dealing with situations like that anymore. Both of their cats had had kittens, and there was kitten poop behind the sofa and under the coffee and end tables. Friend just grimaced and said, yeah, we're working on that. Similar story, went to a friend's house and there was dried dog shit all over the carpet. They were just stepping over it, my friend said they would get to it later. This one time I was staying at my friend's grandparents' house with him and deadass his grandma would sleepwalk every night and she would just stare your fucking soul out if you didn't have your door locked at night. My friend told me she's always been that way. That shit was absolutely terrifying though we'll never forget. My ex's dad used to take Ambien and refused to lay down right away, so he would sleepwalk and hallucinate. You could always tell because his eyes just looked empty. I was woken up by him standing in the doorway to the bedroom one time, and he started laughing with absolutely no expression on his face. It scared the hell out of me. I accidentally woke him up and he started acting all defensive, yelling stuff like who are you and how did you get in? I'm the locksmith and I'm a locksmith. When I was 9 we lived in a townhouse rental. My sister and I were friends with neighbor girls. When they invited us to spend the night my sister could not go because of a sports thing. No big deal. I spent the night and when we came down for breakfast the next morning the dad completely yelled at me for not washing my face before sitting at the table. I was frozen. My friend took me upstairs to wash my face. I cried and just left. How horrible. My 9-year-old self did not deserve it. Still makes me sad to this day. In freshman year of high school, a friend had us over for his birthday. They had some wooded property and we were going to play paintball the next day. We had pizza and the dad ate with us. I got up from the table to get a napkin or something and the dad flipped out and said I had to request to get up from the table. I just sat down and ate and wanted to leave immediately. I can't even imagine yelling at my kids' friends about anything. What is people's problem from that era? Oh yeah. Leaded gasoline. My friend dad was 14 at the time literally stripped down naked to change in the living room, with his parents acting like it was casual. Went to Germany as a foreign exchange student. The host family were usually only in their underwear in the common areas of the house, while the dad was nude at night watching football or news. Took me a while. I'd always knock on my own bedroom door before leaving the bedroom. And they'd never get the point. Nicest people ever though. This maybe isn't the craziest thing ever but my best friend's family in middle school consistently had like 6 gallons of whole milk in their fridge because they as a family drank it constantly. One of my good friends when I was like 18 was like that. It was so weird to me that I would go over to her house for dinner and we would be having tacos or pizza or something and everyone would be drinking milk. Of course, they probably thought I was the weird one for only having milk if I was eating cereal. I was sleeping over at a friend's house as a kid. I was in a sleeping bag on the floor next to his bed. He got up in the middle of the night and peed on the floor in the corner of the room. I brought up how it was weird the next morning and his entire family acted as if it was totally normal and looked at me like I had 3 heads. I'm amazed the entire house didn't smell like pee. Well, just one corner of each room smells like pee. I mean, it is the pee corner. I guess I was around 10 years old. Went to my friend's house. We hung out in her room for a while. Then we went to the kitchen for a snack. She took an uncooked hot dog from the fridge and started cutting it into segments while saying, "This is my dad's penis." Oh good grief, I hope it's nothing more than the kid being silly. And not because they were sad. I looked out the window and discovered that my friend's dad likes to tend to his crops in the nude. Guy got 69 upvotes and deleted his account. I'm French, so try to imagine this scene in French. IDK, how just do it. When I was 11 years old, I went to my friend's house to play a little. Once at her place, her mom greets me, very sweet lady, and starts gently scolding my friend because she didn't do her chores for the day before going out. My friend, not happy at all, starts getting all red in the face, curse her mom every bird's name and shouts, "Shut your FUI mouth, bitch." She did. And then she gave us snacks. Tunpot Cartman.